All right, so Logan, the final cards were revealed for Phantasmal Flames. We've got
Right.
the Paladin Wooper, and we have the Meowth.
Yep.
So now we have all the cards for Phantasmal Flames, and oh man, this set is just gonna be nuts.
It is gonna be nuts. Like I've had friends and people text me and message me saying like, dude, did you see this? Like the Paldean Wooper, I have to have this card. Like
Yeah.
for a little bit of context, the Paldean Wooper illustration rare and this Meowth illustration rare were both from the Generation starter decks, I think is what they were called. Battle Generations, something like that.
hmm
They were from a starter deck product in Japan, Korea, anywhere but English, back in 2024. And those cards have at least the Meowth. I don't know as much about the current market price of the Wooper, but the Meowth, as of a month ago, that Japanese card was sitting at like $164 market price. And with this card being reprinted in English, it's another opportunity for some of that market share of the Japanese to switch over to the English. So I imagine that the Japanese Japanese cards for both of these will drop, and they'll kind of level out with the English. It'll be interesting. I'm excited for them. The cards are nice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this set is and has the
Yeah.
makings of being one of, if not the most expensive modern set. So I did my first card show
Yeah.
this weekend. More of that later, but there's pretty general consensus that the SAR Charizard in particular, a lot of people think that's going to be the most expensive modern card. It's going to overtake the Umbreon and Prismatic. It's going to overtake the Bolt Mew. Um, this set is just
It's
going to be nuts.
It's really weird. We still haven't seen it in English, like
Yeah,
except for that one leak from months ago.
yeah,
But like, it still hasn't been officially revealed. So when it does, and people start to see it for the first time, because you have a big portion of the audience that doesn't care about Japanese, don't even know what's going on, uh, and so they don't even know that this Charizard is coming.
yeah,
And so when it does, man, it's gonna be nuts.
yeah.
I'm a little nervous for it, just to see how this set performs and how it affects the market. UPCs, the Mega Charizard X UPCs are going for astronomical prices. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be a weird one. It's
Yeah.
fun. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
Pokemon fan.
And we're a month after the release of Inferno X, which is the
Yeah,
equivalent of Phantasmal Flames.
correct.
And prices for that, to kind of give any clue,
Oh
are
man,
going
we'll dive
crazy.
into this.
Like the SAR Charizard for in Japanese is going for like $700 or $800.
Still,
Still, like, it hasn't dropped, and if anything, it keeps going up.
right?
If anything,
Yep.
I just a lot of people are really just holding on to their butts for what prices are going to look like for Phantasmal. And
Yeah.
some people are considering buying the booster boxes for, $320 on TCG Player.
Yeah.
Some people are considering that and thinking that could be a steal. And it could be. I mean, if you look
It
at
could be.
Destined Rivals booster boxes, and we're only, what, 4 months from when
Yeah,
Destined
June.
Rivals was
I think
released, something
so.
like that.
Yeah.
Booster
Or
boxes
1 month.
for Destined Rivals are going for like around $400, 400
Yeah.
plus dollars, something like that.
Yep.
At one point, they were at 500 plus.
Yeah, they've had some fluctuation over the past month or so.
Yeah.
But like whether it's the 375 or 485, the boxes are still insanely high. And they have not slowed down.
Yeah.
Slowed down maybe to, you know, 200% over MSRP. So it's like, like it's just a wild time that we're in right now,
Yeah. And
with the
everyone's saying
Pokemon
the same
market.
thing. Like, what's going to happen when Destined Rivals goes out of print? I mean, it was just released,
I don't know.
and,
I mean,
and they've reached $500 a booster box, at one point.
yeah, I mean, I
Like, what's
think
going to happen at the end of 2 years?
eh, uh,
More into that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, more on that later. So, to round out the weekly news for this past week, there wasn't a whole lot, but we pretty much know Phantasmal Flames set list and kind of what to expect going into it.
Mhm.
Oricorio is out. It's in the UPC as a promo. Um, the Whimsicott and Weevil lineup, if you're into the competitive play, are actually going to be the promos in some of the 3-pack blisters rather than in the set. But other than that, it's pretty much exactly everything that's from the Inferno X Japanese set and the Mega Gengar and Mega Diancie Japanese battle decks,
Mhm.
all combined into this set. Um, Pretty straightforward. Going after the Charizard. That's what most people are gonna go after.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's it for this last week's news. Guys, this is episode 13 of the PokeTable podcast. My name is Logan. I'm here from Zippy's Card Corner, and I'm joined by Alex from Poke Legends TCG. We're two small businesses that are trying to figure out this Pokemon market and having fun doing it. But with that out of the way, let's talk about last week's business updates. Alex, I know you had a busy weekend this week. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so big weekend. I did my first card show. It
Yeah.
was in Carmel, Indiana. So if you came out to that and you met me, hi. It was definitely very eye-opening, and it's definitely going to be a big topic we talk about throughout the podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to
I'm
go over
interested
some
in
of the
hearing more about it.
yeah, we're going to go over some of the pros, some of the cons, whether it's going to be a regular thing in the future. But yeah, more on that throughout the podcast.
All right,
And
cool.
but yeah, and Logan, I know you've had some interesting things go on, particularly with Chinese Pokemon cards. So I'll let you
Sure.
take it from there.
Yeah, so, I think a couple weeks ago I launched Gem Pack Volume 3 Simplified Chinese. I'd only bought 20 boxes to start just to kind of get, a feeler for what my audience wanted. Sold out within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that was a clear indicator to me that there is at least some portion of my audience that is wanting simplified Chinese.
Mhm.
So with that preconceived notion, I restocked on Gem Pack Volume 3. Those are here in store and ready to be shipped out today. And then I also secured my order for the newest Pokemon 151 Gathering set. So
Nice.
context again about this whole 151 weird, simplified Chinese set. It's split up into 4 sections. Uh, this is the latest. It's called Gathering. The one before was Surprise. I think the one before was Journey, and then there's one more that I'm forgetting. But each of these are comprised of different aspects of the 151 set, as well as some of the stuff from Paldean Fates. Simplified Chinese is a weird sort of conglomeration of things.
Yeah.
However, the important thing is that they all include new Simplified Chinese exclusive cards.
Hmm.
So the one before was called Surprise, and that had the Gengar and the Pikachu exclusive in the forest, like Gengar hunting Pikachu. And that card
Yeah.
was selling for, I don't even want to say a number, a very large number. Gathering is this newest one. It released, must have been last week. And I secured my order, so it's on the way. Just waiting to see, how long it takes to get here.
Mhm.
But the exclusive card in that is it's a group of Pikachu's, and I'm not even joking. The last sold on eBay, at least what I checked yesterday, was like $1,400 raw.
Oh my God.
So like I sent out some content, sent out some stories, like letting people know that I will be stocking it. And I can already tell there's some excitement for it. However, one thing that I want to talk about specifically about the Gem Pack Volume 3 restock is that it's a lesson learned. It's not really, something that I wasn't expecting. It just really emphasized it. Is that high quality content, uh, sharing and marketing your product rather than going for ads. Like if that's what you're doing and you're not running ads and you're going for content to be the thing that, uh, announces products and whatever, high quality content, reels that perform well are going to do so much better than a regular reel that performs average even if you have a lot of followers. And what I mean by that is that I had a reel that performed very well. And that reel's specific goal, only goal, was to market the Gym Pack Volume 3 was on my site. Uh, that reel performed well. I got a ton of engagement from it. The hook was very good. Speaking candidly, the hook was very good. I put a lot of time and effort into making sure that that reel performed well. It was solid, and it did. And that is what I, attribute to all of the sales that I got the same day. I sold out within 24 hours, 20 boxes. Best day ever.
That's awesome.
In my
Yeah.
business's history. Um, I restocked yesterday, and I sent or 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I forget. I sent out a reel announcing it. It didn't perform as well, and that affected sales. And I just want to like emphasize, I'm at 17,000 followers now. Crazy.
Insane.
However, it doesn't mean anything if your content that you're posting is not good content. So
Yeah.
you cannot lean entirely on your following to know that you have a restock. Like, you have to make content that reaches them, and it reaches them
Right.
by Instagram algorithm understanding that it's good content and that people are engaging and watching past the first 3 seconds. So again, you can have 100,000 followers, but if you're making reels that are not your best, and you're not putting as much time and attention as maybe you should be into the hook, your sales will suffer from that. So I wanted to bring that to the attention, because I think that there's, I think there can be some misconceptions about it. Yeah, like, just because Alex and I have over 10,000 followers, 15,000 followers, like, we're still having to put in the effort every single reel.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't pan out every time. So
No.
just sort of a reality check.
Yeah, I mean, and Instagram algorithm, like, it's pretty cutthroat. I mean, it doesn't
Yes.
really matter how many followers you have. Um, it's not going to push your content to all your followers. You think it
No.
would, but it doesn't. It's based off of a lot of different metrics. How long does how long do people watch? How long do
Yep.
people stay for longer than the first few seconds? And if that's poor, then Instagram will stop pushing it, even to your followers. It'll
Yeah.
stop showing it.
Yeah.
There's just so much, so much more content these days that, unless it's a good, like Logan was saying, unless it's high quality content, Instagram won't push it, and you won't get the views, even if you have 15 plus, 20 plus thousand followers. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And like, just to dive a little bit into kind of how my content's going lately. I hit over 17,000 followers. Crazy. Awesome. However,
Insane.
I've been on a bit of a low streak in terms of what the algorithm sees as engaging content. And what that means is, up until about a week ago, I was consistently hitting, like, average was probably between 10 and 20,000 views. I had
Hmm.
some videos hit 100,000 views. My low performing ones were like 9,000 ish. Um, and this week, something has changed. You should reflect on what it is that you're doing, and I'm trying really hard, but doesn't seem to be anything that I've done that's changed the way that I've been doing videos that performed well a week ago, that are performing poorly. They're getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 views, and compared to where I was a week ago, those are that there's a decline. And so, I think the video that I posted the other day, I think it only got like 4,000 views, which is low for, the videos that I'm posting. And so, yeah, to Alex's point, like, of the 17,000 followers, and however many of those, of the 4,000 views actually viewed it, it's like, that's just a small piece of the pie. in terms of the people that know about my content that just didn't receive that reel.
Yeah.
So, Instagram's hard. Consistency is key. Keep the motivation. And the point is like, there's ups and downs, and the quality of your content matters, especially if you're a business.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, and emphasize, ups and downs. Like, there's definitely going to be ups and downs with your content creation. You're not going to make
Yeah.
a banger video every single time. Something, that Alex, Ketchum says a lot is, count uploads, not likes.
Right.
And that's super, you know, that's super important. So, and so Logan, you and I have talked, don't change what you're doing too much because
Yep. Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
it's worked.
Yeah. It's worked
It's
so
definitely
far.
worked. Again, for people viewing the podcast, for, maybe this is your first time viewing the podcast, Logan went from, I don't know, like around 500 followers in May, I think it was, when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
first started.
Yeah.
He's
May.
posted a reel every single day since then. So I think he's like at 150-ish days going
Let
with a
me
reel
see.
a day, something like that. And he's now up to 17,000 followers. His sales have, I don't know, 10x'd,
Yeah. Probably more. Like,
more than that, maybe
it was
even.
it was it was it was it was flatlining. um, and now we're alive and
So,
healthy. We're not huge successful business, but compared to what we were, it's night and day.
yeah. So, anyways, if you're a new viewer and you're wanting to start your own business, I would definitely encourage you to study Logan's content for sure. Because I study Logan's content.
Yeah, I study my
Uh,
own content. That's key too. um,
right. Yeah.
but yeah, so that was sort of this last week's news. Speaking of organic growth, I just want to tie this in real quick. I started running ads. Uh, haven't done that in 161 days. I just checked
Yeah.
since daily uploading. I feel like all of the businesses that I've watched kind of their mindset around ads is that they're a great way to uh, what's the word? They're a great way to increase reach. And but it's really hard to start with ads. And like I firsthand account struggled with that. Like the content I was creating before was inconsistent. It was bad. It was static. They were just posts. They weren't reels. They weren't of my face. All these different things. I was posting ads, and I was getting some sales, but it just wasn't a way to grow. And like the money that I was spending on ads wasn't worth it. And so now they have a bit of a following. We have some sales under our belt. I'm digging back into the strategies of running some ads and seeing where that takes us. So I'll probably have an update next week about that.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. No, and uh, if if you run ads on a reel that performs well organically, then the ad will perform better. Will perform well on a reel that
Yes.
performed well organically. But if it didn't perform well organically, and you try and run an ad on that reel, then it's not going to perform well.
Right, because it
And
didn't perform well in the beginning.
because it didn't perform well in the beginning, right? Like an ad, like so. To end on this topic, uh, spending money on ads is not going to be a band-aid for bad content,
Right. Yeah.
right? It's not going to be like, I don't care how much money you want to throw at it. If it doesn't capture the viewer's attention, then it doesn't matter how many people are shown the ad.
Yeah.
So I hope that makes sense. So anyways, really awesome though. Really looking forward to hearing your results
Yeah,
next
for
week.
sure. I'm excited. We'll see.
Yeah.
Or conspiracy, 10 hat theory on, it just tanks my views and,
Yeah.
like,
The other thing too about that's advantageous about running ads, and then there's this huge stigma with running ads, and I think it has to do with running ads on on bad content, I
Hmm.
think is
Yeah.
where it kind of
Yeah.
gets a bad name. But one of the advantageous things about running ads is the vast majority of the audience that are shown those ads are in the United States, which
You can
is
target it.
good for
Yes.
us, right? Which is good for us because it's a lot easier to ship to someone in the United States than it is to, someone in uh, China or someone
Yeah.
in,
The
wherever,
UK,
right?
even
In
Canada,
Australia or the
shipping costs are
UK.
high.
Yeah. Costs a lot more money to ship to the UK than anywhere in the United States.
Right. So, yeah, there are advantages to it. So I'm excited. We'll see. Yeah, I'll have more of an update next week.
Cool. So getting into the couple topics. So again, went to my first card show,
Yeah.
and I definitely opened my eyes to prices, and we're definitely seeing some prices get out of control, particularly for sealed, but even for singles, prices are getting kind of nuts. So Phantasmal Flames ETBs, they're going for pre-order now. And they're going for pre-order at about $115 a box, which I think is, I want to say that's the most ever. Like
I've never seen it higher.
I don't think I've ever seen it higher than that. So we've hit another like new threshold
New
of
peak.
$115 a box for pre-orders
Yep.
for ETBs. Distributors are not taking any new clients, so that's something that uh, I learned a little bit of when went to the card show. I got to talk to a lot of people that own their own brick or mortar. They can't even get a distributor.
Wow.
They can't even get product. So
That's
so
not
I guess
good.
I should re-clarify. You can make an account. Like you
Sure.
can make an account with a distributor, but they don't give you any. They're not giving you any product.
You're bottom you're at the back of the line.
You're at the back of the line because
Of
distributors can't supply their current clients with enough
right.
product. Um, so things are definitely out of control, and I think we've hit a sort of a new threshold of out of control. Like I mentioned, the Japanese SAR Charizard, which is the hit card in Inferno X, which is the equivalent of Phantasmal Flames, is going for prices that we've never seen before with Japanese. So everyone has the same sort of thought, like if that's going for what that is in Japanese, what's going to happen with English? Because the hit cards drive the setup,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's the same with basically anything, like the Bubble Mew and Paladin Fates. You want to go on TCG Player and find out how much booster bundles are going for with Paladin Fates, or
Uh,
ETBs
yeah.
are going for with Paladin Fates. Uh, it's nuts. So
Well, it's also like I want to point out like we're businesses too, right? And
mhm.
we've had English drops the past
Yeah.
couple of weeks. And I've talked about this in the last podcast. I'll talk about it again. Like I had an English drop that performed poorly compared to previous ones. I've had others in the past that have been wildly successful, uh, provided similar product. Prices are always have always been above MSRP but lower than market, or we try
Mhm.
to. Depends on exactly what we have. This time I had a little bit more items that were closer to market. However, uh, I don't attribute that being the case or the reason that it performed as poorly. I just, I'm seeing it. Alex and I have talked about it. I've seen it with other businesses. Like, I think that buyers are also just getting tired, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
that prices have been so high for so long and they continue to climb, for certain products. Some are dipping, some are, increasing. But the point is like, uh, people want that old normal back.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I don't think I think we have to adjust our mindset of what normal is these days.
Mhm.
Um, but I just think there's a lot of people that have a bit of a bitter taste in their mouth with how things have gone the past year,
Yeah.
um, and how they're kind of continuing to go. Look at any sort of video of mine that talks about Phantasmal Flame products, or any cool cards that are coming out, you'll look in the comments and you'll see people like, looks cool, but I'm never gonna open it because I'm never gonna be able to find it.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's like there's a lot of sentiment like that around the market and around the Pokemon environment right now, and it's just tough. I think that plays a big role. Like, you see all these other content creators that are talking about this cooling down period, and it's guys, I don't think it's about price as much as it is about slowing sales because people are just tired. Um,
Yeah.
anyways, it's just interesting to point out.
Yeah, for sure. Like it is. I mean, the prices are pricing out a huge percentage of the community, but it's not driving down prices because there are so many high rollers that have gotten into the hobby now. I mean, like I said in our last podcast, the fact that this stuff was posted in the Wall Street Journal, I just think that the cat's just out of the bag now. And you have, people that have never, you know, touched the hobby, are now getting into it based solely on investment.
Yeah,
Um,
and like I was recently asked from a creator channel to provide like a 10-20 second clip of like my high level thoughts of this Wall Street Journal article. And basically I said that just exactly what you said. I think that the eyes are open to what Pokemon can do long term because we've seen it. The past 30 years, there's hardly any product that has ever not gone up.
yeah.
And the problem is that the people that were holding sealed stuff, up until about 5 years ago, the people that had the vintage in their basement and that were intentionally holding and
Mhm.
selling were few and far between.
Yes.
That's why it's so hard to find vintage for decent prices. It's astronomical because it's so limited.
Yeah.
Um, Now you're getting people that are casual fans, uh, but are actually investors that don't care about opening the product. They're going to
Hmm.
keep it sealed. Like they're
Yeah.
buying it to keep it sealed. And they have no problem doing that. They have no problem holding, 5, 10, 6, 5, 10, 15 years because that's what investing is, right? You're taught to, you know, buy consistently and hold long term. Um, because you
Exactly.
know that S&P 500 at least always kind of ticks up, and that's kind of the sentiment with Pokemon. And so you have real investors, not people that collect Pokemon and are now starting a sealed investment, a sealed collection and calling themselves investors. While they are investing, like no, no, no. You have people that don't care about Pokemon as a hobby, as opening cards, as anything like that, and are putting large amounts of money into this and keeping it sealed, and because that's what you do as an investor. And so, anyways, my point is like you have more sealed product that's just sitting in closets than ever before. Um, and that one, everyone's fighting for what's on the shelf or what's, available online. And then they're putting it in their closets and they're not reselling it. And that's what's driving prices. So like, it's just, and kind of, again, what Alex said, the cat's out of the bag. Like this is, we're in the end game. Like this is going to be the new normal, and that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. Like we need to reset what we see as normal for Pokemon. And yes, I get the argument of like it's a kids game. Let the kids open it. Yeah, that's fine. I want that too.
Yeah. Same.
However, that doesn't change the fact that this kids game has outperformed the S&P 500 over the past 5, 10, 15 years. Um, so it's just like you can make up all these arguments. You can make up all these things of why it shouldn't be like that, but it is. So I don't really have an answer. I want to put more perspective out there. Just because I think more people need to understand where we're at and where we're going.
Yeah. I mean, like, so think of it this way: you have up like this percentage of the population that have, you know, a lot of money. Let's just take, uh, people that are multimillionaires.
Sure.
One of the things that they're like, uh, one of their primary goals is to make their money make money, right? To
Yeah.
make their
Right.
money
Yep.
work for them to
Yep.
make more money,
Yep.
and a place where the money is going to be safe and
Yeah.
is going
Less
to be
risk.
safe long term. So we basically have 30 years of data when it comes to sealed Pokemon product, and it has consistently gone up, like year over year. Like hardly, I mean, there's been some dips, but not really for sealed. Like not definitely not long term for sealed. So and they're performing than the S&P better than the S&P 500. So when you get people that are primarily focused on those two things, investing in sealed Pokemon product becomes incredibly enticing because it's super safe. It doesn't appear like I mean, there are zero signs of this stopping anytime soon. And we have a lot of data to back it up now. And it performs super well. I mean, think about uh, like anything Sword and Shield right now. Think of like if you invested in that 2 years ago or even a year ago,
Even
how much
six
it's
months
gone up.
ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago. Think of if you invested in Prismatic Evolutions at release even. I mean, people were complaining about ETB selling for, $75,
These.
$80, you know. They've gone up to around 150 on TCG Player at one
Yeah.
point.
Well,
So
and you have moments where Pokemon is restocked and the prices have dipped to
it'll
like
dip.
100, maybe even below 100, and people
Yeah,
are like, it's still too expensive. Like,
yeah,
what do you want? I know you want MSRP, but that's not realistic. So tell me what you realistically want.
right. I mean, and these dips are happening during the print cycle, right? During the 2 year print cycle,
Right.
like, and
Yeah,
everyone's wondering
we're
the
still
same
getting
thing.
reprints.
Like, what's gonna happen when these sets are no longer in print? Like, are they just gonna? I mean, is this basically people are wondering what is the new normal gonna be? Is this going to be the new normal? So Logan, so something I want to ask you,
Sure.
and is a major topic for this podcast,
Yeah.
is I know we've talked a little bit about maybe Pokemon shifting a little bit more towards printing like individual packs
Hmm.
and like collection boxes
Okay.
more so than ETBs and booster boxes.
Okay.
Um, so I think that could be interesting. Uh, I don't really see too much of it yet. I think they're still printing a lot of ETBs in particular. But
Yeah.
at one point, do you think Pokemon needs to step in?
I mean, I don't know. Like, a part of me saying that they're trying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think that the it's tough, man. Like, ideally, they print booster bundles to the moon, and that's it. Um, you know, a handful of packs in a single, item that you can buy. There's no extra packaging, there's no promos involved. It's just Pokemon cards. But it's also not booster boxes where, you're allocating 36 into this unit that is then, held and sold. Like, no, like they need to be in these small boxes, just a handful of packs at a time. Buy them for what, $30? I don't know. I forget what MSRP is. Um, $30. The average collector can get them. The investor can get them too. Like, though, I think booster bundles are probably the key. I think Pokemon is, selling these ancillary products with all this packaging and these promos um, to entice to the average viewer and maybe to unentice. I don't know, is that a word? Dissuade the investor from purchasing them just because they take up space. Like, uh, some of the price per pack ratio is not amazing because you know, the promos and the extra stuff, the binders, whatever, take up some of the value.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I don't know. I want Pokemon to print booster bundles. Uh,
Yeah.
but Pokemon is Pokemon, and they understand that, like from a business perspective, everything is selling. So like they
Yeah.
can, you know, have this diverse product lineup that's fun and cool, and like, you know, like the holiday box. Like they can make this fun little product, and people will
Hmm.
buy it. It takes
Yeah.
up space. It takes up, you know, capacity in their printing facilities, but like it's a good product that is, you know, has a place for, you know, people that are looking to have an advent calendar for the holidays. I don't know. Um, so I mean, I don't know. I think they're trying to appeal to everyone, and it's just I just don't think it's enough. And I don't know the answer though. Like,
Yeah.
because I do think Pokemon's trying.
Yeah.
Now we'll see if the printing facilities that they
Yeah.
are planning to open up in quarter 1 of next year, at least that's sort of the rumor on the street,
Yeah.
if that has an impact and what it is that they'll actually reprint. Or like, are they going to use those to reprint, or are they just going to go gung ho on the next set? Like, uh,
Right.
you know, that comes out in February or January or whenever it does, like, or like we're gonna print the ever living heck out of this next set, and there's no way, you know. I think, you know, like if you're on any of the like there's a lot of stock that drops on certain things and on certain events, and like if Pokemon just like doubled, tripled, quadrupled that unit number every single drop. Um, I don't know. That could be interesting.
Yeah. And something I kind of want to throw out there is if Pokemon did want to shift more towards like, okay, fine, make ETBs, booster boxes, make that more of like an exclusive collector item. Fine. Just print more packs. Just make it to where people can go to the store and still open packs, still buy packs at MSRP and open them because inevitably, you know, if you print enough packs, then the price of singles will go down, which will inevitably bring everything else down. Now, sure, if you want to, you know, there is a percentage of the community where they're just sealed collectors, right? And if they want to pay a premium for having a booster box sealed, you know, fine. I think that's, you know, I think that would be their prerogative at that point. But the fact that when you walk into a retail store and you can't buy anything, there's nothing. Like individual packs of Mega Evolution are going for like, I don't know, $9.50 a sealed pack, so it's almost
Yep.
double MSRP.
Yep.
Um, I just think that's a problem. You know, so
Yeah.
whatever Pokemon wants to do, I think the answer should be though to print more packs, whether that's in the form of booster bundles, booster boxes, whatever. And I talked a little bit about this with people at the card show, and I was surprised to hear by at least some where they said, you know, well, you know, I think it would be silly for Pokemon to quench that demand. You know, because you know, the popularity of Pokemon is sort of at an all-time high. But I guess my counter to that is, sure, you don't want to print stuff into the ground like how it
Mhm.
was with Battle Styles and Shining Fates, and you know, when that all crashed. You
Right.
know, I don't think that's smart. But also, like, if you have stuff selling out almost instantly
I mean,
from
there's
restocks,
there's some room.
there's some room. I mean, it's not gonna just you print a little more and oh, there's a crash. It's not gonna work like that. And so I do think it needs to be strategic, but I just think we're so far away Logan, we are so far away from being able to quench that demand that I think in order for there to be a crash, any sort of crash or correction, correction maybe is the wrong word. We need a correction, but a crash. I mean, Pokemon would need 10 printing facilities.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to go at least we'd have to go at least 3 or 4x of what Pokemon is printing right now for it to really quench demand.
It's an interesting take though that I've been hearing a little bit about, and I can see it. I don't know what it would take to get to this point, but kind of what I was talking about earlier, where fans are just tired. The average
Yeah,
collector are just tired
yeah,
of going to their targets, not finding anything, or waiting in line to buy a single item. You know, where they got in line at 6 a.m. and
yeah,
they're only able to buy one product, or they're paying, over MSRP by a ton just to get it. So like I think people are tired of it, and I think we're seeing sort of this slowdown in terms of the buying. And what that could do if we continue this and it even gets worse is that you have all these scalpers that are clearing shelves and then reselling it.
yeah,
If we have a majority of the scalpers that are buying these products, buying them out, selling it for market price, all of a sudden can't sell it. Like, you have a lot of people that just will suddenly not be taking that product off the shelf. And again, it's like you need a lot. I think you need things to move in a negative direction quite a bit.
yeah.
Like sentiment would need to get very bad. Um, but we're kind of seeing it, at least the start. And again, I don't know how far we need to go before we hit that point, but I want to bring that to the attention of Pokemon and because if it gets to the point where like people are just tired of your product, like it's not because you haven't, the sets are still badass, the sets are still, you know, highly desirable, from a collector's perspective. But if people aren't willing to even pay money for it, like it may get to the point where people are like, yeah, screw this. I'm not even paying MSRP, like because it doesn't exist. Um,
Yeah.
like that could spell doom for Pokemon. At least
Yeah.
this
Would it
current
be
cycle.
so bad for instead of something selling out in literally sometimes a few minutes, would it be so bad if maybe it sold out in like a couple days, where like everyone had a chance to at least buy it at MSRP, and then then it's out, and then again though at the end of the 2 year cycle, it's no longer printed. So
Yeah,
I do think that would be a much healthier scope for the hobby because
100%.
I
I
mean
don't think
like
they want to do that.
yeah,
What I just said. That would be worst case scenario. Like I said, that
yeah,
would spell doom for Pokemon.
yeah. Uh, and then you know something you highlighted I want to emphasize is there's still a decent percentage of the community that are just buying the product to resell. Like they don't care about the hobby.
Yeah,
They don't care about the sets. They're just going in there, buying it, looking on TCG players, seeing what the market price is, and then just reselling it.
flipping it for the highest price they can.
And then just flipping it. And I
Yeah.
do think that there is it'll hit a point where that's no longer worth it, right? Like let's say if an ETB at MSRP is $50
Correct.
and on market price it's 60, is it really worth getting up at 8 a.m. being like the first in line to go and buy it to resell for $10 more a box? I don't think so. So I do think that there is a uh, there is a point at which people that are buying products for just to resell, they don't care about the hobby. I do think there is a price at which they will stop doing it.
Yeah, I agree. Um, what that price is, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, you know, uh, we could talk about this for a long time.
Yes.
What I want to talk about though is your card show.
Yeah.
I set the stage. You know, I want you to give people context of what you do typically, and what this was, and why you chose to do it.
Yeah, so I actually did it with someone that's been on the podcast a couple
Yep.
times,
Kent.
Corsby Gaming. So he messaged me and asked me if I wanted to split a table with him at an upcoming card show. And at first, I was a bit hesitant because I had never done one.
Well,
And it's
and
a huge
Alex and
time
I
commitment.
are online only,
Online
sealed
only.
only Pokemon businesses,
Yeah,
which is as kind of as far away as you can be from slinging singles and slabs at card shows.
right. That's the other thing. I don't really sell singles. I used to. I don't really sell singles anymore. So at first I thought, it's a huge time commitment, and you know, I don't really do singles, which is what the main, uh, which is emphasized in card shows. But eventually I agreed. I thought, you know what, this will at least, if nothing else, be a really cool experience. So
Fun
I did.
weekend.
And so we split a table, and it worked out because, you know, Corsby Gaming, mainly he just does singles, and I just did sealed. So we'd
Cool.
had one half of the table with singles and one half of the table with sealed, basically.
Sick.
And it was a pretty big show. There were, I think, 250 tables total. 75 of those tables were Pokemon, and the rest were sports, baseball, basketball,
Yeah,
etc.
makes sense. The usual.
And it was really fun. One of the things that I was pleasantly surprised about, though, was the people were all super cool. Like pretty much
Cool.
everyone that came to our table, we talked back and forth with them for a few minutes about like the hobby with about various
Yeah.
cards and
Yeah.
sets, and was able to like get hyped and psyched together
Right.
about
Yeah.
Phantasmal Flames coming out, and that part of it was really awesome. I
Hmm.
was pleasantly surprised by that.
Sweet. Cool. Any vendor
Um,
POV that you did? You didn't set up a GoPro, at the end of your table?
no, I thought about maybe doing some content at the table, but
That would have been fun.
yeah, but um, I don't know. Maybe next time
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
probably do some content. Um,
So there weren't
so
any like weird uncomfortable moments with anyone?
no, no, not really.
Cool. Good.
There are a couple people that asked if I could go a little lower on some things I had out and I had listed, and I just very politely said, no, I'm sorry, that's really as low as I could go, and everyone was super cool. Um,
How did negotiation go? Like did you have to use your negotiation skills at all?
a couple times, like, you know, there was a little bit of back and forth with a couple people, but the process was super super laid back. Like I
Sure.
never felt like any pressure, and I never tried to put any pressure on anyone uh, coming to our table.
Yeah.
The whole process was just super laid back and cool.
Cool. No, I'm glad to hear that. That would that'd be my biggest worry is like you've never done it before, it's completely new. Like I'm not negotiating with people, with our sealed online businesses ever.
Yeah,
You have a couple DMs coming every now and then. Those are easy to, not even reply to. Uh, yeah, like going in person and then having to do some math on the spot. For, it's funny. I got my bachelor's degree in college. I got a math degree, and even myself, it's like I'd be sitting there sweating. Like oh man, like don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Um. Oh yeah, no, I'm very impressed.
yeah,
So would you do it again?
yeah. No, good question. So, so the biggest con with doing the card show was the time sink. So Friday
Mm-hmm.
was from 4 p.m. until around 9 p.m. And then Saturday, because yesterday was around like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
So
Jeez.
it's pretty much an all day thing for both days.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the con of doing card shows.
Okay.
Um, so would I do it again? I think so though, because I
Okay.
really enjoyed the experience. I did make some sales. It was
Nice.
cool, like just talking with people, about Pokemon, because I don't have anyone else to talk
No,
Pokemon with
it's you and
besides
me.
Logan. Yeah, my wife and kid, they don't know anything about it.
No, my girlfriend. Yeah.
So that that part of it is cool. The cash transactions are also kind of nice because you don't
Sure.
have to mess with shipping. You don't have to mess with you know you don't have to mess with chargeback or
Yeah.
anything like that. um, you don't have to worry about them getting damaged from the shipping
Yeah.
carrier. None of
Exactly.
that
Like
is,
what they see is
is
what they get.
what they get is what they get, and they can see it. It's right in front of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, I
that's
remember
cool.
that you bought some banners, some stick like what did you do to prepare to do this?
Yeah, so I bought some portable shelving. They
Okay.
allowed us to bring that with us. So I had that behind the table, and I bought a couple shirts that had my logo on it.
Nice.
Um, and then yeah, just packing up everything sealed was also a bit of a task. So
I would imagine so.
had multiple like big giant totes full of
Yeah.
uh,
Product.
product. Um, so getting prepared as far as like what sealed you want to take, getting everything priced out. It's it was definitely um, it was definitely time consuming for sure. Now,
It
yes,
seemed.
though I was able to buy some product while I was there,
Oh
and
yeah.
a lot of people would take their sealed or their singles or whatever to go and sell. Like that
Okay.
was actually a major part of the show. Like uh, Kent Corsby Gaming, he bought a ton of singles
Sure. I may imagine
while he
so.
was there, like thousands of dollars worth of
Yeah.
singles, like a lot of singles. And then I bought a couple things sealed as well. There's also advantageous trades
hmm
sometimes, depending on uh, depending on the product and like if um, like someone came up with uh, some Mega Evolution booster bundles that were
Yeah.
sealed and were wanting to trade, and they were willing to trade at 80%.
Yeah. 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 Advantageous trades and
So that's a huge that's super advantageous and these card shows. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, I probably would do it again. I definitely wouldn't want to do it super often.
okay.
Probably like every couple months because
Yeah.
of just how much time goes into them. But Logan and I were talking right before the podcast.
I was just gonna
I
bring it
think it
up.
would be super cool if me and Logan did a card show together.
Yeah, I mean it'd be super fun. Like, go to like, a collecticon or something or a card party and vend and just like, you know, we would set up our podcast, at the booth and we would just do the podcast there. No, it'd be fun. It'd be cool. Maybe one day. I think yeah, no, I'd be down. Now, Alex, so one thing that I'm curious about, uh, so just to reiterate, we only sell sealed product. You saw a lot of stuff happening with singles, especially with Ken, right there doing it. Um, how do you feel about selling singles now? Has anything changed? different mindset about it, or I'm curious.
Yeah, so one of the interesting things was, Corsby Gaming, he was able to buy singles at, like, really at 70%.
Wow.
Like he priced everything out, and he'd let them know beforehand, like, hey, like he was up front. He's like, hey, I buy at 70%, and pretty much everyone was like, okay, that's cool.
Deal.
So he's like, okay, yeah, I'll get it priced out for you, and then he made an offer, and then more times than not, they'd accept the offer. So, and Corsby Game, he sells on eBay, which um, is interesting. We talked a lot about the pros and cons about selling on eBay.
In a
But
previous
one of the
podcast
things
for
that would
him.
be advantageous for us, Logan and I, we sell it on our own website, so we're not, um, you know, the only transaction fee that we have is through the credit card companies.
Payments. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3%. So it is a potential um, revenue stream that we're missing out on.
Yeah.
Now it's another thing that takes a lot of time though. You really got to know what you're looking for. The process of listing them, right? Because there's so many different, like,
Oh, geez. God, it makes me stressed thinking about it.
I mean, you're talking so many different variants of cards, like reverse hollows and SARs, and like,
So like
more
I
often than not, you're probably making a whole new listing for, you know, for a ton of the cards that you buy.
so
You're probably not gonna have that many duplicates, at
right.
least at first.
I follow this other Pokemon business, and they opened up a brick and mortar store recently. However, they sell online, obviously, um, and they'll post content onto their stories about how they just started getting into singles and listing a lot of them. And it's not like they're a growing successful business, much bigger than Alex and I both. And so they're listing hundreds of singles at a time. Um, and all of his a lot of his stories are about like how much time and effort that he's put into adding them to the site, organizing them, and adding filtering. So when you are on your site and you can type in the search bar, you're searching for a specific item on this site. Um, or you're adding like, or if you type like Japanese, all of the Japanese stuff comes up. That's done because you're adding like tags to different products that have that certain attribute, that certain label. The amount of filtering and work that they've done to their site to accommodate as best as they can, even he says there's still a lot of work to be done, to allow for a good buying experience for individual single cards is so much time that it's probably more than a lot of the time that I've spent on my site, like as entirely. And my point is just like there's so much time and effort. Like Alex and I are not, for lack of a better word, blind to singles being a way to make money. Like I see a ton of TikToks and obviously vendors, right? Like there's a reason vendors exist. It's because, there is a market for singles, huge market. Um, Arguably bigger than sealed. And you can make a lot of good money off of that, especially with the margins. Better margins than sealed at times. It's just the cost is so deep. Like I think that if I wasn't working my full-time job, I wasn't creating as much content, uh, and I was going all in on my business, like, yeah, then I'd dive into singles. However, dealing with, you know, the what you sell on your site versus what the customer has, like, oh, is this lightly played or is it near mint? Like, oh, I bought near mint, but it's actually lightly played, and you're doing disputes and you're saying no, what I sold you was near mint, and like
Yeah.
Like,
Now, and the advantage of selling like through eBay is, well, you can tell the customer, hey,
good point.
sorry, you'll
Yeah.
have to submit your claim or your dispute through the eBay channels, and then they'll handle it. But there's no middleman for us.
Nope.
It's gonna be us, between us and the customer. So,
Yeah.
that would have to be something directly handled by us. And as we scale, right, that will
Oh,
become more
jeez.
and more of a problem, right? Like if we're selling, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 singles a day, like there's going to be a lot of opportunities for there to be disputes and claims, no matter how good our customer
No.
service is. I mean, we could take pictures, we can be as honest and forthcoming as we can, but things happen, right? And shipping, um, maybe, uh, you know, God forbid, maybe, something happened after it already was delivered, anything could happen. So
It,
again, it's just, I keep going back to the same thing. It's time.
yeah.
It is a potential revenue stream, but the bigger you scale, the more of a problem it'll become.
Exactly. And what I was just trying to explain was like, maybe if I, maybe if I was trying to scale,
Yeah.
I would do singles. However, just what Alex said, as you scale, it becomes harder and harder. So it's like this
Yeah.
inverse. And, it's like if you sell 20 singles a day, you're having to restock those 20 singles. Like,
Hmm.
and that includes either one, going to a card show and
Yeah.
buying, uh, things in person, with potential, savings, just because of negotiation and whatnot. Or you're going to eBay or TCG Player and you're looking at pictures, you're looking at different listings, determining which one's best. Like, oh man, it stresses me out thinking about it.
Yeah. 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 I mean, now there could be, you could do like almost a happy medium where the only singles you do buy and sell are high-end singles,
Yeah,
or maybe you just do slabs.
yeah.
So like um, there isn't any of the whole like, hey, I
Near
got
mint,
this and it was
lightly played.
really
Yeah,
lightly played versus near mint. I mean, the slab is the slab. Um, so
that's
that could be
true.
something, and it's something I'm considering. Like, hey, maybe we just do high end singles.
Yeah,
Maybe we just do high end singles and slabs. That's something I'm sort of considering.
playing
But
around with
again,
it, playing in your head. Yeah.
like you gotta, where are you gonna get the slabs? Where are you gonna get? Are you gonna grade the cards yourself? 'Cause if you're gonna grade the cards yourself, then that's another big
Oh,
time sink. You
geez.
have to really know what you're looking for. And we've talked a lot about that on the podcast. Like the difference between a PSA 9 and 10
Uh,
is night and day. You might as well just break the slab open on a PSA 9, and sell it as raw. Like no one seems to want the PSA 9s.
yeah,
So
it's
there's a
crazy,
lot that
man.
goes into it,
Yeah,
when it comes to grading yourself. Now, if you want to buy the slabs, themselves, well, I mean,
yeah. You could drop 10K on
you could drop
a good
10K,
amount of high end slabs and
but
uh,
singles tend to be a lot more volatile than sealed,
right.
you know?
A lot to consider. And that's sort of where, small business Pokemon, guys, like there's so much that goes into this. It's a lot of work. It's
Yeah,
fun and I love it. I, enjoy it every day. But it's not sunshine and rainbows.
it's not.
Um, not all the time.
Yeah. So, with that, guys, I think we came to time. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for watching the PokeTable podcast, and please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We'd be forever grateful. Please share this with your friends. We'd be super appreciative. And with that, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you
See you
guys.
guys.
See y'all.